to cover in a short amount of time. And so we're going to just jump right into it. I want to thank the collaborators for helping us start this meeting, get everyone checked in, get everything organized and working. So thank you very much for showing up early and staying late so that all the new folks can have a wonderful experience. And to all the new people, hello, welcome. My name is Michael. You're going to spend the evening with me. We're going to go over a lot of good concepts. And an interesting fact right now, here I am. I get a lot of questions and people say, Michael, why are you in a sauna right now? I'm not in a sauna, okay? In fact, about a year ago, I got inspired to upgrade my real estate investing, and I was doing short sales and fix and flips and long-term rentals, and I decided to get into land development. So last year, we bought 265 acres of forest land and some incredible trails and some waterfalls, and we were going to make some off-grid glamping experiences for people. Well, when this whole COVID thing kind of shut everything down, and I was in Denver, I decided, you know what, it's too crowded, my wife is pregnant. We're actually expecting a baby in about a week or two. And I said, you know what, it's too crowded. There's too many people. Hey, we got this cabin. We got 265 acres. They did say social distancing. And so we decided, hey, we're going to spend the next couple months in our cabin and enjoy the world from this point of view. So I'm so grateful, blessed, and highly favored to even have that option, because it was about 15 years ago, I was a bum. Literally, I was homeless. I had screwed up a lot of my finances and was in between houses, and found myself on the street, eating out of trash cans, not having a good time at all. I was lost, confused, frustrated, angry, pissed off, worried, sad, all the emotions. But one thing kept me straight, and that was being coachable and constantly learning new things. So we're going to fast forward into 2020. Here I am now. I got properties all over the country that are paying me on a monthly basis, and an incredible business. And I'm going to show you how I went from that to where I am today. And it's a process. You have to work at it. I'm not trying to say it's going to be easy. You can have a lot of fun while you do it, but we're going to work hard. And anything worth doing is worth doing hard. So we're going to talk about building a real estate portfolio that could pay you and your family for generations to come, how to protect it, how to secure it, and basically how to get back your time, right? There's a lot of systems out there that could be working against us. So make sure that we stay in control of our time, and we're going to go fast. We're going to go through a lot of stuff today. And for those of you who are brand new and with us today, this is just the beginning of an incredible journey with us. So welcome. I'm excited for this. So I get to work with this incredible company called Renatus. And before I found them, I was just going from job to job to job. In fact, I've been fired from every single job except for my last one. And it was tough, but I found a way to not only make a living, but to make a fortune. I am an ICM. What that means is independent contracted marketer with Renatus. So I spend a lot of time talking about them. In fact, I talk about them so much that they decide to pay me. And so just so everyone here is clear, what we're offering at Renatus is, for tonight anyway, is not specific counsel or legal advice. We're going to go over some legal stuff, some accounting, some banking, some tax stuff, but I'm not licensed in those fields. I just hire the people with the licenses. I listen well, I take notes, and I'm going to share with you some golden nuggets. So congrats on being here. And tonight's property or webinar is intellectual property of Renatus. So if you want to take screenshots or take notes, that's fine. As far as uploading those to somewhere else on the internet, let us do that. We got our own specific ways of doing that. So again, welcome. And here's me. I hope you enjoy these drawings that I made for you. These are custom drawings, fresh off the press. This is me. This is me, day one, considering getting involved in real estate. I've been beat up, bruised, chewed up, spit out, and but I maintained this open mindset of being able to continuously learn new ways of doing things, and I'm really grateful for that. Now, if you stick around to the end of this webinar, I have a special gift for you, a free gift that will hopefully make a difference in your life. So stay tuned to the end in order to learn how to receive that. So we were pursuing a dream. And that dream, basically what people told me is if you want to achieve that, you got to go to college. Well, I didn't have the money, the credit, the financial backing to do that. So I ended up getting student loans. I know a lot of people have messed around with student loans, and it is a trap. It is a financial trap. It looks like an opportunity, but it's a trap. If you don't understand how money works, how interest works, how capitalization of interest works, you could be hosed for a decade or two. My $30,000 student loan, by the time I paid it off, cost me $84,000. I paid it off early too. It's a 20-year loan. I paid it off in 7 years, and it still cost me that much. If I hadn't paid that off, I would still be paying on it right now. So I made a difference in my life. Now, because I did graduate, I did get that degree, I got some jobs. In fact, I got 2 jobs, one to pay the bills and one to pay the student loan, and it still wasn't enough. So what do I do now? Well, one of the reasons why I wasn't working is because of the taxes. Look at this gauntlet we're going through. And what we're calling is normal these days. Getting jobs, getting into debt, paying ridiculous amounts in taxes. I don't know if you can see my detailed drawing here on the right. I'm losing an arm and a leg to my taxes. It is just too much. But I didn't know that because I had a job, I was paying this much in taxes. Other people who own businesses, they pay very little in taxes, sometimes none. I wanted to know how that worked. And if I had got the memo early on as a kid, as a teenager, going through high school, that if I went and got a job, I was going to pay taxes at this rate versus starting a business and starting to get write-offs, I wouldn't have tried so hard to get those degrees and get those jobs. I would have put that effort into a business. But here we are. I learned my lesson. And in fact, we're coming up on National Tax Day. Not when taxes are due, but Tax Freedom Day. What that means is the day that all of the tax bill is paid up for employees. So if you think about it, from January 1st to April 19th, every single dollar that you earn goes to taxes. Isn't that rough? My goodness. There's no wonder that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. In this kind of system, we got to fix it. And instead of revolting against the system, why don't we just play the game? Look at this as a game. Nothing more, nothing less. If you want to win, you got to learn the rules. You got to learn the scoreboard. You got to learn how to play the game, what's out of bounds, what's allowed, what's not, and have fun with it. You can make a lot of progress. At that time, living where I was living was my girlfriend's mom's basement, working 2 jobs, struggling with my student loan payments, and had no life. But I found out that because I was at least making those on-time payments, I could get a mortgage. But I didn't know what a mortgage was. I didn't know what the word meant. All I heard was people have mortgages. So for those of you who don't know, mortgage is a Latin word, and it means death promise. So when we consider, wait a minute, I'm using a death promise to buy property. Is there a better way? Is there an easier way, maybe a safer way? And so we're going to go into that a little bit more. So my day one, when I was talking to people about I'm paying too much in taxes, my student loan is killing me, I have no time because I'm working 2 full-time jobs, I was complaining. I was a mess. And somebody said, yeah, you know what the solution is, Michael? You should get into real estate. And I said, well, didn't you just hear my mess? I have no time. I have no car. I have no money. I have no credit. I have no knowledge. What are you talking about? I have too much debt. Get into real estate. And they said, yeah, why don't you hop on this training and let us introduce to you this system. So no matter where you're at in the world, no matter where you're at financially, we have some systems. Now, here is an interesting version of me that used to show up in the world. This was the guy who was complaining every day, complaining about the weather, his boss, traffic, taxes, company policy, grocery prices. He was a complainer. But I had to make a change. And so those of you on the line today, I'm guessing that you've been inspired to make a change, whether it's a conscious decision or you were forced into a change because of a layoff or a furlough or something like that. The point is, if you change, everything will change for you. If you change your mindset, if you change your outlook, if you change your attitude, your core, if you change, everything can change for you. So the main thing we're going to talk about today is if you want a new result, you got to change your mindset. Your mindset and results are directly linked, directly correlated. It does not matter. Your results do not matter based off of age, gender, educational background, height, beard. glasses, none of that stuff. I mean, we got international people on the line here, right? Eloy was just talking about, hey, he's here from Spain. He's making it work. It doesn't matter where you're from. It matters your mindset, and that will determine where you're going. So you got to have a fluid growth mindset. And because I changed, I went from goofing around, wasting my time. I was a hard worker, but I wasn't getting anywhere, to now where I get to lead an organization of 1,000 investors all over the nation. And that's just a small part of our entire organization. There's actually 29,000 of us that are using different business systems and real estate systems to provide for our families in a big way. So if you change, everything can change for you. Speaking of change, look at these people, these change agents in the world. They have created a massive change. They also created a ton of value, and they left a blueprint for success. And after 10,000 conversations that I've had over the last 10 years and doing hundreds and hundreds of interviews on what is causing success and failure for people, I decided to write a book. I wrote a book called The 7 Financial Cheat Codes because I feel like there are too many people falling into these traps. And what looks like an opportunity becomes a financial trap for years, if not decades. And we need to get people out of that mess. It went into Amazon bestseller in 4 different categories, so I guess some people are liking it. Now, the real reason, though, the real question is, why are you here? Are you an experienced real estate investor looking for an upgrade, looking to improve, looking to join a group of like-minded individuals that have resources? Have you always wanted to get into real estate and now you feel is the appropriate time? The side hustle, the gig economy, this is where it's at. You've got to be in control of your income. And as you can see, this week, today, 22 million people filed for unemployment. That's a lot of people. And the folks who I know that own businesses are doing incredible right now, especially entrepreneurial type businesses. It's a challenge. If you got a restaurant business or something like that where it requires a crowd, I get it. But if you have an online business, you got a marketing business, you have a real estate business, these things are thriving. So now's the time to jump in. Maybe you're tired of bumping around on quote unquote free training sites that only tease you. They don't ever give you any real training. And now you're here, you heard somebody invited you to Renatus and said, hey, quit wasting your time. Come to Renatus, come and check it out. Or maybe you've never even considered real estate investing as a way to make a living and a fortune, but you're open now to new ways of making money. And whoever you are, welcome. I know there's a lot of range of experience going on here. I was at that bottom one. I had never even considered real estate. I was just tired of being broke. So I'm so glad I found this organization. Again, now if there are people who are brand new, we like to showcase students all over the country who are making big things happen in their world. What we like to do, I mean, until this quarantine thing happened, what we would do is commonly we'd meet up 2 or 3 times a week, 100 times a year, and we would walk through properties together. We would do deals together. We would do workshops and house tours and study groups. Now we've converted a lot of that stuff online, and there's a few more events this week if you want to plug in to see how that works. The main thing that we want to talk about is switching from this mindset of being an employee or self-employed to being a business owner and a real estate investor. And the common theme with being an employee or self-employed is if you stop working, the money stops. If the money stops because you stop working, that's not a system, that's not a business. Business ownership means you can step away from the business and it's still running, money's still coming in. Same thing as a real estate investor. So we want to create more strength in your income. Now I'm going to switch over to my whiteboard here because I want to draw out a simple mission that we are on and provide some more clarity for who we are and what we do. This is a simple transition. If you open your mindset, this is definitely something that you can make happen. Most people, unfortunately, right now are living a life by default, not by design. They wake up by default. They talk by default. They interact by default. They eat by default. They don't even design what they eat. That's a big problem. So the life of default is what we're trying to get away from. Now in the financial world, default looks like this. 1/3 of your income goes to taxes. We already talked about that. 1/3 of your income goes to interest and fees to banks and to Wall Street and the fees that are associated with that. And then 1/3 is basically what people are trying to make a living off of. That's rough. That's tough. We want to change. We want to make a life by design. We want to design it on purpose. And a life by design can look like this: 10% taxes, 10% interest, 80% left for our lifestyle. Now, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes energy to make that shift, to go from default to design. Some of you are a financial mess. Not gonna lie, I was too. And it took some time to make a transition. Others of you have a lot of things dialed in, and this is just the missing step that you need to really take control of your finances, your life, and your business. Some of you, the transition may take 30 days. Some of you, it may take 90 days. Some of you may take 180 days. But we want to make that move, going from default to design. And you don't have to necessarily make more money to do this, but you do have to switch how you do things in order to get a better result. And to make that switch, you got to change your mindset. You got to be coachable. You got to be willing to try new things in a new way if you want to get a new result. So building a life by design, this is what we're talking about. And the person that invited you here is doing that thing. They might be years and years ahead of you, maybe only months or weeks, or maybe a day ahead of you. The point is, there's a path to follow in order for you to take back your existence so you don't die like a punk. It's up to you in order to make a change. No one's going to do long-term care for you. No one's going to take care of you long-term the way you would if you were in control. So the name of the game is live a life by design. Now, what is it that we design? How can we go through this design process? Well, it is all about business ownership and real estate investing. One of the main things you got to pay attention to, take a screenshot of this, is putting the currencies in the proper order. Time, knowledge, relationships, credit, and then money. Too often, people who struggle with money are prioritizing money over time. Isn't that weird? It kind of seems ironic that they want more money and time, but because they prioritize money, they get less of it. Whereas wealthy folks, if you notice how busy they are, how protective they are of their schedule, what they spend their time on, they're not wasting time watching TV. No, but the people I hang out with, they are not binge watching Netflix. What a waste of time. This is a time to grow a business. This is time to get ahead of the game. This is the most level playing field you're ever going to experience in the economy right now. Warren Buffett doesn't even know what to do right now. It is a level playing field. And when you get the right training, the right education, you're surrounded by the right kind of people, and that's what time, knowledge, and relationships are all about. Wealthy mindset folks, this is what they understand. I'm inviting you. Try on this mindset. This is all it is a mindset. Wealth is not an amount. It's not an account. It's not anything more than a process or a habit. And we habitually engage in time-saving, money-making activities. But we're not going to waste time at the expense or to gain money. That's not how wealthy folks think. You don't need to be making millions of dollars to be wealthy. You need to engage in time-saving tactics and strategies. That's what puts you in the wealthy mindset, and you start to see you get a better return on your time. You get a better return on your relationships and your knowledge. So if you have a lot of knowledge, but it has nothing to do with money, you're still going to be broke. I know people who have PhDs in psychology that were still living paycheck to paycheck. So knowledge in finance, knowledge in numbers. You don't need a degree in finance. You don't need a license to be a financial planner. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about going from this default to design life. And one of the other things we need to make a switch on is this concept of retirement. How many people say, I want to retire, but they don't even know what the word means. When you look up the word retirement, basically what it means is take out a commission, end usefulness. So you really want to stop being useful? No, that's not the case. What you are saying is you want to stop having a job, but still get your bills paid. That's what you mean when you say retirement. But wealthy folks understand it's not about piling up eggs. It's about owning chickens, taking care of the chickens or the golden goose that lays the egg. Of course, you got to feed it, water it, protect it. And that's, when it comes to asset protection and reducing your risk and your liabilities. But if we get on the other side of this equation, it doesn't matter where you're at, where you're getting started, it matters this mindset. It's time to buy the chicken. It's time to own the duplication process. Are you picking up what I'm putting down here? So again, disclaimer, what this means is not every deal works out the same. I'm going to talk about a deal, but there are so many factors that go into different deals that you just got to know that each real estate result is unique. So here's a unique deal. Now, we bought this property for 0 credit. Nobody pulled our credit. We didn't go to a bank, and we were able to come out of pocket. Think about this. We came out of pocket on this deal, $187.32, and we bought a $200,000 house that cash flows. Now, in order to recognize a deal like this, you got to have the right mindset. You got to have the right skill set in order to take advantage of a deal like this. Now, we created a win-win-win. Win-win-wins are a requirement in our organization. If you want to work with us, you want to pool our resources and be able to use what we've built in this country to do your real estate, win-win-win is a requirement. If you rip off a homeowner, or you rip off somebody, or you steal, or you do anything shady like that, you're out. We'll kick you out. We have a 0 tolerance policy on that. So create win-win-wins. This homeowner thanked us, actually sent us a thank you letter for us buying their house. How often does that happen? You buy someone's house and they say thank you. In our world, it happens a lot because we are out here to solve problems in a big, big way. In fact, what I want to do right now is I'm going to pop over because, like I said in the intro, there are other rooms that are happening right now where we're doing deal strategies and doing study groups with each other and breaking down some different deals. So I'm going to pop into our study group right now, and we're going to take a look at what Mike Kessler and the team are going through right now. This is part of their study group here. And you should be able to see my screen. We're going through how to find motivated sellers using online systems. And oh, I am doing 3 things at once. This is awesome. All right, it's loading. Here we go.
Default 5.
So we're going through deals right now.
Properties here in the last few months. This is what, 2.5 months of 196 properties. Guys, those properties have all missed their payments. That's like an automatic opportunity, right? We don't know if they're wanting to sell, right? We don't know any more information than they've just missed some payments, okay? So what do you do next, Heather? How do you take this and to the next step?
What I do is then click on the information to get their name.
Right, so we're going to go back to the PowerPoint now. So those of you who are members and you're interested in taking advantage of these online systems and support that we've created, well, next week, if you get involved with what we do, you can be on the other side of these webinars and start getting support and analyzing your deals and finding more property. Now, we did this deal that I have up here on the screen through a similar system. We found motivated sellers. They missed their payments. We caught them up. They assigned us the deed. Now, there's a certain process you have to go through to make sure you get the right insurances. Attorney has to review the documentation. You got to go through a title company to close it and record it correctly. But heck, put on $187 and walk into $63,000 in equity. That's pretty special. That's unique. And we did this with 0 credit. It took about 3 weeks. And in fact, we weren't the first people to contact them. The homeowners told us that another investor knocked on the door but wasn't listening to their problems, wasn't creating a solution for them. So if you want a secret, you want to know how to do this, you want to know how to get rich in real estate, you have to be able to listen to their problems. It's not always about a discount. It's not always about, hey, take my offer, let's go, 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 because it's cash, come on. No. If you can't solve someone's problem, why the heck are they going to sell to you? They're only selling because they have a problem. So here at Renatus, we're going to teach you, 1, the eyes to see the problem, and 2, the solutions to the problems you come across so that you can build a business of any size. Your income is directly related to the kinds of problems you solve. Now, let me read this one real quick. This is by Nate. He's now, when I met him, this was the PhD I was talking to you about, living paycheck to paycheck with a doctorate degree. And he's still, because how the system's set up and how finances are set up in this country, if you don't know, it's going to chew you up. He says real estate, and he now has over 100 transactions under his belt, 50 rentals and 50 flips. Says real estate definitely has its ups and downs. 2 months ago, my tenants in this house stopped paying rent, and it took 6 weeks in a court hearing to evict them. While in Haiti, I negotiated a seller finance contract in which I'll become the bank on the deal and never have to fuss with tenants again. When we close in 5 days, my buyer will make $110,000 down payment, allowing me to recoup all of it I've invested in the property, along with an immediate $35,000 in net profit. Even more exciting, my passive role is the bank. I'll make another $61,000 in interest payments over the next several years without doing anything. I love my career. So when you change your mindset and you start looking at money in a different way, money is just a tool. And if you get too emotional around money, there's no way that you're going to get ahead. It's going to mess you up. You cannot make emotional financial decisions. It's got to be logic. It's got to be based off of numbers. And so money is just a tool. Money is just a tool. Here's some more house tours around the country. One's up here in Seattle. We got Arizona. And we got a lot of people all around the country on this webinar today. So thank you for all showing up. Now, the major key to your successful future is using business systems. We have what's called the 4 pillars of wealth, and they are taxes, banking, business, and real estate. If you neglect any one of these, you're not painting a full picture of wealth. When I talk to wealthy people in this country, they have all 4 of these dialed in, and they actually enjoy talking about taxes and tax strategies and banking and bank strategies. They enjoy that kind of stuff. But when I talk to poor-minded people, even if they're making $100,000 a year, if they could still be poor-minded, making 6 figures. They don't want to talk about taxes. They're not interested in strategies. They just deal with it. And that's not the approach that's going to get you rich. So the good news is you don't have to be rich to do this stuff, but if you start doing this stuff, chances of getting rich go way up. And when I say rich, let me be clear. It's rich in relationships. It's rich in a positive mental attitude. It's rich in sound physical health, and then money. There are multiple riches, not just money. When you get on the other side of taxes, this is what could happen. So if you were a W-2 wage earner and you make $100,000 and you're in a 30% tax bracket, you get a haircut right off the top, 30 grand, right to the IRS. And then you're going to pay sales tax and gas tax and these other taxes. You got to register your car and pay insurance, and all this money just starts coming out after your taxes have been taken out. So most people in this country, at the end of the year, statistically speaking, don't save any money. Right now, America has a negative 0.1 savings rate. That's awful. That is awful. Japan is the one with the highest in the world right now. They have an 11% savings rate per person on average. That's wild. But one of the things we might be able to help us save more money is how we pay our taxes. If you own a business, and only if you own a business, you can write expenses off before the taxes come out. We have this new line called the AGI, and the AGI, adjusted gross income. I got a lot of accountants and tax preparers and CPAs on the line here. They can vouch for me here. This is how we can pay our taxes legitimately, pay less, still play the game, still be honest and ethical, but keep our hard-earned money. Taxes, income tax specifically, is confiscation of your wealth. Plain and simple. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I don't care at all. Doesn't matter. This confiscation of wealth. If you earn that money and someone says, I'm going to take it because you earned it, come on. That's not sustainable. We need to fix it. So they've created systems for us to be able to keep our hard-earned money. But the IRS and the federal government say only if you start a business. If you provide jobs, housing, or food, you get to keep the majority of your money. If you don't, they're going to take that money from you in the form of taxes. And then by the time you hit 65, you're going to become dependent on the government. And then they'll give you back that little bit of money inconveniently in small doses back to you. If you want to be independent, you got to start a business. And it all depends on what you focus on. We all have a choice to direct our focus. What do we focus on? High financial efficiency people and low financial efficiency people focus on 2 different things. If you're low, you're going to focus on your debts. You're going to focus on your taxes. You're going to focus on liabilities and what you owe. And unfortunately, you have fixed determined income. You can just do the math. It's an equation. And we can see how much money you're going to make in your entire lifetime. Now, high financial efficiency people, they focus on debt acceleration. What's the fastest way to get out of debt using all the tools available to me? They focus on write-offs. What can I legitimately create right now as a business expense that was a personal expense? Am I going to write off my phone, my laptop, my TV, the miles on my car once I get to drive again? here I am in my cabin. I get to write off my ATV. I get to write off my lawnmower. I get to write off my chainsaw. I get to write off so many other things because I'm taking care of my business property, right? I got a drone. I got a brand new drone, right? I got to check on the property. I get to write off everything, legitimately, honestly. And so you have this opportunity, if you start a business, to convert personal expenses into business expenses. Now, also focusing on assets and paying attention to making systems, recurring control, where we control the income systems. That's what people focus on. So notice it's not an amount of money, it's the focus. What's going on in your mind that's going to create the ultimate result for you. Now, when you're looking to start a business, what are some things to look for? I got 5 major points of what to look for. A stable, trustworthy company. That's a big part of it. Now, here at Renatus, we have a clean track record. For the last 9 years, we've been nationally recognized for our quality of training. And we are a debt-free company. The CEO is debt-free, and we have a 25-year cash reserve to be able to run this company. And so when you see other businesses being shut down because they don't have any cash flow, because a bank comes knocking saying, hey, time to make your payments. Not here. We own everything free and clear, and we want to be a good example to you of what it's like to be prudent and stewardship this great amount of wealth and money that's coming your way. So stable and trustworthy. Next is trend and timing. Well, heck, real estate, man, this is the time. Now, 20 years ago really was the time, right? When you look at prices now versus 20 years ago is what we want. Well, can't unwind that. So now's the time. Get involved in real estate now. And not only in real estate, but in online business systems. Everybody's being forced online. Do you have an online business? Why the heck not? Now, if you're looking for that, we got it. We got a built-in system for you to start marketing, creating leads for yourself, putting them into systems, creating sales, making money along the way, using what we have here. So people are looking for online systems, we got it. People are looking for real estate, we got it. Timing is perfect. We also have an incredible compensation plan for those of you who are interested in getting paid to talk, getting paid to grow, to display what we have to offer. Also, real estate is an incredible compensation plan. I got properties 2,000 miles away paying me every month. There's just deposits coming in. And if you have a big portfolio right now and some of your renters got laid off and they're not paying, then there are right now government programs that will reimburse you for your lost rent. Isn't that awesome? So real estate is where it's at. If you own your businesses and you have control, this is an opportunity. Now that's a small window, right? Maybe next week that opportunity goes away, but at least for this week, the EIDL program, that stimulus package, that's out there. So go get it. Now, the right product and service. Obviously, education is a major, major need right now. So many people are wondering, I just got laid off. What do I do? Or, hey, I'm sick of this business. It was, I was barely hanging on anyway. I'm just going to shut it down and start a new business that is relevant to right now. And online education is a $150 billion a year industry. You want to be involved in a growing industry, now's the time. Get involved in online education. And then a support system. We have an incredible support system. 29,000 students nationwide, 4,500 marketers and student advisors to help people use our systems. We got coaches and trainers to help you dial in your deals. We got the right support system. We actually do 3 phone calls a day. It depends on what time zone you're in, but we got 3 phone calls a day or webinars that you can hop on and get training support, systems support. Support. Did I mention support? And we have support. It's huge what we got going on. Now, it's not for free. There's no way it's going to be for free. But the good news is it's not college prices. It's not university prices. Now, we have college and university quality training and doctorate level tax strategies and planning strategies. Seriously. But at an incredible price. Now, here's a screenshot of our corporate headquarters. Like I said, everything is owned free and clear. We have 2 recording studios in here to deliver the most up-to-date relevant training. We actually just did a 3-day broadcast of our national conference, updating everyone on what's going on. This corporate team is incredible. I've been able to spend some time in that building and take advantage of some training. Now, we've also won 3 years in a row Best in state for seminar training and education. That's incredible. So it's not just me saying we're awesome. We are, but other third-party organizations that go around and stack us against everyone else, we've won 3 years in a row. That's incredible. And not just in education, but also in trade publication and in instructional books. Our workbooks that come along with the trainings are award-winning workbooks. This is incredible stuff. So you really are in the right place at the right time. We take this very seriously. We have students in all 50 states, and before the quarantine happened and this social distancing and all this interesting stuff we got to adjust to, we had over 70 locations that were meeting on a weekly basis and supporting each other. Like I said, 2, sometimes 3 times a week, getting together and supporting each other. We have an online video vault. It goes through a ton of training. We have practitioner instructors. What does practitioner mean? It means someone who does it. They do what they're teaching and they follow through with that. They have incredible businesses. They're wildly successful in what they do. And because they're ethically driven and have moral business standards, they can be instructors for us. They have a 1-year interview process. The CEO is very particular about who he introduces to his students. And so all of these men and women have impeccable track records. And we have 32 instructors on our staff to be able to teach you, train you, give you the right tools, resources, so you can go out there and crush it in real estate. It doesn't matter what kind of real estate you want to do, all kinds of strategies. And down to things like negotiating, 1031 exchanges, and being able to help people get out of bankruptcies and different things like that. So our education, our online platform is award-winning. There's nobody better than us when it comes to how we can translate these very complicated, sometimes sophisticated concepts into easy to understand, digestible action steps that you go out in the world and take. Now, there's 2 parts to this, and you're going to run them simultaneously. Okay. One is we got to focus on keeping our wealth. It's up to you. If you don't pay attention to every single penny, it's going to be confiscated in one form or another. It's going to leak out of your pockets. Building your wealth simultaneously while you're keeping your wealth. It doesn't matter how much you make, it's how much you keep. So when it comes to what we have to offer, it's a lifetime membership. Our Keep Your Wealth classes are what we're going to call our Essentials and our Profits courses. These things are all designed to help you build or to help you design to keep your money, your hard-earned money. You're already earning a boatload of money now. Some of you are in debt with houses, with credit cards, with student loans, and you want to know how to get out of those quickly and efficiently. We're going to cover that in our Essentials program. And then in the Extreme Plus and the Extreme Plus Profits combo, this is where we really dive deep into some advanced, sophisticated strategies to help you get the results that you're after. Once your money is dialed in, man, life gets so much easier and much more interesting. When you don't have to think on a day-to-day basis where your money's coming from, you can explore other dimensions of life and have a lot more fun doing it. Guilt-free spending, you got to try it sometime. So our Essentials course, first 5 courses are Velocity Banking, Tax and Legal 1 and 2, Self-Directed IRAs, and then Understanding Your Credit. Did you know if you have a 719 credit score versus a 720, you have to pay $6,000 more for a $200,000 mortgage? 1 point costs you $6,000 more in closing costs to get the same interest rate because of 1 point. So you got to understand your credit, and it's constantly changing too. In fact, last year we update these very frequently. It's a lifetime membership, and so as things change in the government policies around credit, taxes, banking, retirement accounts, all this stuff, we constantly update for our students. We recorded a class on credit. It was a 2-day class. 3 weeks after we recorded it, Congress passes a different act, and it makes some of our training irrelevant. And so we went back to the studio that same day it was passed, re-recorded the new classes, and distributed it to everyone. Now, obviously, that costs corporate money, but for the students, hey, we got a lifetime membership. It doesn't cost you another dime to get updated, get new classes, new courses. It's incredible. Once those financial wealth management classes are in your head, then we start on real estate, foundations, marketing, then deal of the decade. That's actually the topic they're doing in the study group in the other room. And then real estate red flags, what not to do in real estate. Sometimes the best deal you do is the one you say no to. And then creative acquisitions. That's how we actually did that creative deal. How do you buy houses with just the words, not so much the money? And then we have what are called learning paths with a core, a strategy, and a bonus class. So visually, this is what it looks like, our essentials course. And for some of you that are just trying to dial in your taxes, dial in your retirement accounts and your credit, and build up your asset protection, maybe you're just here for the essentials course. That's great. Again, it's an award-winning course. Our AIT, however, is robust. There are a ton of trainings in here. And so it really depends on what you want to specialize in. Is it multifamily, buy and hold, commercial? What is it? Fix and flip. So our Extreme Plus combo is all everything. And we also have what's called the advanced combo, where if you just want to get the essentials with 2 specialties, I have highlighted here short sales and fix and flips because that's where I started. It's up to you. However you want to get in, just get in where you fit in. That's what we say around here. We got over 50 full-day classes in the AIT, 11 full-day classes in the essentials, 9 classes in the profits. Here are the profits training courses. This stuff will revolutionize your business. Automation, communication, growth and development. These are the things that are missing. If you got a passion for your business, but you don't have the structure behind it, it's still going to be a struggle. You might have fun with it because it's your passion, but you might not be nearly as profitable if you got people like this behind you, supporting you, showing you how to use this stuff. And all these gentlemen have proven track records. In fact, Ron Williams is the most decorated bodybuilder of all time. Woody Woodward has written 31 books, created 3 movies, and done thousands of interviews. Eric Counts is nationally recognized for his understanding of credit. In fact, he's been key witnesses for credit fraud, like when Wells Fargo had their issue. Troy Dunn is a media expert. He's been on TV media in various ways over 550 times. And Mark Kohler is an award-winning CPA tax attorney, and in fact, trains the IRS agents on how to catch fraudulent tax returns. This guy's incredible. So when you take his training, he's going to show you the right way to do it, the effective way to do it. He's also a real estate investor, so he'll show you how to protect your assets. Rob Sperry was voted #1 business development trainer for 2019 for home-based businesses. Now here we are, home-based business. Welcome. You either are here because you were forced into it, or you just have a passion for home-based business. Rob Sperry got the #1 trainer award for that. And so now, luckily, we've been able to attract him into our organization. When he saw what our CEO does for our entrepreneurs, he said, heck, I'm in. And then Christian George has owned title companies. He's been in commercial real estate for over 20 years. And he's going to go over velocity banking and business structure so that your business is thriving from day one. So again, here are the prices. Now, if you don't have the money up front, it's all good. Most people don't. I didn't. That's for darn sure. I was broke as a joke, living paycheck to paycheck. My mom was paying my cell phone bill so she could check in on me. If she didn't, I wasn't going to have a cell phone. That's how broke I was when I got started. I was still riding the bus when I got started. So it doesn't matter where you start. It matters that you start and you get something going. It's going great in your life. If you want to start with your essentials, it's $400 down, $116 a month, all the way up to the Apex combo, which is $4,600 down, $670 a month, everywhere in between. And any money that you put in towards one package goes towards the rest. So you're not going to be double charged. If you start at your essentials or you start at your profits and you want to get something else, that money goes towards it. Now, here's what's cool. If you find a way to pay in full, whether you got a retirement account, a life insurance policy, a HELOC you're not using, a credit card, maybe you come up with a business partner strategy or a trust account, you can actually get a pretty nice discount. It's a 20% discount if you pay cash instead of using the billing process. So you can get a $5,750 discount just for paying in full. And every one of these packages is a write-off for you. It's a lifetime membership and a tax write-off. So, you can start right away creating some systems for yourself. Now, before I go into this next training, which is on how to get out of debt and get 10 rentals in less than a decade, I would first like to bring out a few people to just share their story real briefly on how they're using our systems to create wealth for themselves. So this is going to be totally random, not rehearsed at all. Let me pull up the list of participants here. I'm going to ask Keely Austin. Yeah, let's ask her. She used to work in a bank, and now she's a real estate investor with us. I'm going to have her come out real quick. I'm going to have, oh man, so many people. Oh, we got even more people jumping on. All right, this is great. I'm going to have Esther Hahn come out, and Levi Hunsaker. We got all kinds of people from various different backgrounds coming out to share with you how they're using their system to do real estate, pay their bills, create success for themselves. So I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to let Keely come out here and talk for a second. Keely, go ahead and take it away.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Michael. So I got involved with Renatus about 4 years ago, and Michael is the person who introduced me to this wonderful company, and I'm so grateful for that. So thank you, Michael. I was in banking for about 6 years before this, and have now been doing this full time for just 2 years. And it's just so liberating to be able to have quit my job and have replaced my income and to be in control of my future. Sorry, I get a little bit nervous, so I'm just catching my breath, remembering to breathe.
Doing great, doing great.
Yeah, thank you. So I completed my first fix and flip last year, and it was actually a fantastic deal. I was able to help out a family member. I got into the property without using any of my own money, none of my own credit, and walked away with a $42,000 profit in just 90 days. I was able to do that with the community in Phoenix, who I was able to reach out to some people, just get advice, make sure I was analyzing the deal properly, making sure I negotiated it properly. And so thanks to the community, thanks to the education, I have just grown so much from the day that I started, just so much personal development, and I'm just so grateful. So thank you again.
How much did you make on your first deal?
$42,000.
42,000. Good job. That's incredible stuff.
Thank you.
All right. Congratulations. All right, Esther Hahn, come on out here and share your story, please.
Thank you, Michael. So I'm Esther. Oops, sorry, is there some feedback here? So I joined Renatus about 18 months ago, but prior to that, I did what everyone was told to do. You get good grades. I got okay grades, and you go to college, and then you come out and you get a good job, and made the six-figure income. My husband was making a six-figure income, so we thought we had life all figured out. Had the 2.5 kids, the dog, the white picket fence, the whole 9 yards. And then I found myself single after about 30 years of marriage. And now I'm thinking, what do I do now? I can hope to work another 35 years and pray that my 401k has double-digit returns. And right now it has minus double-digit returns currently. But so when I found Renatus, it was like, oh my goodness, I don't know anything about real estate. I've owned a couple of homes, but that was it. And so once I dived into the education, I realized that I could self-direct an IRA, and I never knew what that meant. And now I've got 2 rental properties in my self-directed IRA, and it's actually returning about a 12%, which is much better than what Fidelity was giving me on the same IRA that was with them. So it's just been an incredible journey. And right now I also am at the tail end of a fix and flip. So my house just got listed today on the MLS, and had to do a 3D tour because we're not sure how many showings we can actually do in person. So that's my story, and I've got so much more to learn and grow and keep moving.
Cool. Congratulations. You got it listed today. That's exciting. I did get to take a tour of it when Esther bought it a couple months ago, and just to see the vision of what it was and what she turned it into. It's exciting stuff. So congratulations on that. I'm going to have Levi come out, and then one other guy all the way from the East Coast, Umair Haq, who used to be in the MMA, kicking butt, taking names out in the fighting world, in the ring, is now here kicking butt, taking names in the real estate world. So we'll go to Levi, and then we'll head over to Umair. Levi, take it away.
All right, thanks, Michael. And congratulations, Keely and Esther. And Keely, you know, there's no need to be nervous. A lot of people on the line here, you know, you've heard the saying, just picture that everybody's in their underwear when you're speaking in front of people. The good news is there's probably half the people on the line here that really are. You'll just never know it. So you're welcome for that. Now, a little bit about where I came from. You know, I came from the corporate world. I'm still working a W-2 job. I have a high-paying job in engineering. And the interesting thing was I always thought, you know, go to school, get good grades, get a good job. Go to school, get good grades, get a good job. But that just was not getting me where I wanted to go. I started seeing that I was working more and more time as I made myself more and more valuable to my company. And I got to the point where my highest week was 96 hours in a single week. And that was crazy to me. I traveled for 3 months straight while my wife was about 6 months pregnant. So I was gone the whole, like almost the whole last part of her pregnancy. And that just was not what I was looking for. That's not what I had in mind for the design of my life. And, you know, for 20 years, I wanted to do real estate, but I was scared. I got stuck not knowing how to move forward. 8 years ago, we took our first home and converted it into a rental property that's been cash flowing $300 a month since then. But in those 8 years, how much more real estate did we do? Nothing. And so, you know, when I got involved with this community, this is what has actually given me the knowledge and the confidence and this community of support behind continuing in real estate. And since then, we have done 3 deals. 2 of them have already sold, and 1 more is under contract closing this month, all during coronavirus. So things are still happening, and you just got to know, be educated, be confident, and get out there and do it.
Cool. Right on. How much did you make on your last deal?
So the last deal, I was actually a lender making 10% interest. So for being a lender, I made about $2,500.
And didn't even lift a finger.
Nope.
What about the first deal?
Also a lender.
Okay.
So that one was an equity stake. You know, the appraisal didn't come in quite as high as we had hoped it would, but we still netted positive on the deal.
Sweet. Yep. Sometimes you can't control everything, but if you run your numbers correctly, you still come out positive.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Now, right after Umair shares his story, I'm going to go into the interest reduction strategies that helped me pay off my first house in 2 years, helped me pay off my student loan 13 years early, saving me 40 grand in interest. And I'm helping my grandma pay off her house 20 years early using this very same strategy. So stick around. All right. Umair Haq, please come on out here, share with the world your story and what you're working on and what's happened for you.
What's up, man? Just grateful to be here, guys. This is actually my first time on this webinar from the East Coast. So really excited to hear everybody's success and just what's going on across the country, man. I love this. Just a little bit of background on me, completely opposite from most of the people you heard from. Grew up, had it a little rough. Was working 5 or 6 different hustles. When I found Renatus, I answered a road sign. And I've been a part of this group 5 years. And to date, you know, me and my wife both run our business together now. We're full-time real estate investors and entrepreneurs. And, you know, life is really different. And it wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for Renatus. And so I look forward to meeting anyone who gets started in person because after this whole virus stuff is over. But it's been great. My last deal was 3 months ago. We made $63,000 on a fix and flip. And, you know, I just pinch myself sometimes because growing up, my parents worked at like 7-Elevens and convenience stores. So I was never meant to be making the money I am. So, yeah, I look forward to meeting people in person and just grateful to be here.
Right on, man. Blessed and highly favored. Thanks for coming out and sharing your story.
You're the man, Michael. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Now, like I said, if you stick to the end of the training, there is a way to get a free gift that will change the way you look at things, because if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Now, let's get into this. This is our advanced and accelerated interest reduction strategy. And one thing I do want to point out, by the way, with all those stories you just heard, all of them work hard. All of them show up. All of them take it seriously, and results vary, right? Some people make a little bit, some people make a lot. I've actually lost money on a deal. Now, my best deal, I made $105,000. That was awesome, but it's risky out there, and so you got to put in the right time and energy and know-how, relationships to make it all work. And that's why Renatus is the best one-stop shop with what we do. So let's jump into this now. This is 2 points: how to get out of all your debt and 10 rentals in a decade, and no pennies will be harmed in the making of this wealth. Again, this is a hypothetical scenario, so just follow along here, okay? And again, it doesn't matter what your numbers are. I'm just using a hypothetical. This can work with almost anybody's numbers. So let's check this out. Let's imagine your household brings in $5,000 a month, and you put it into your checking account and your savings account. Now you have a loan. You got a mortgage for $1,200. It's a $200,000 mortgage, 30 years, $1,200 a month at 6% interest. Looks like we got a car payment now, $600 a month, $12,000 balance left on that at 6% there. Now on the other side of the screen, we got lines or credit cards, $15,000 limit, $12,000 balance at 21% interest. Now, how long would it take someone to pay this off if they're making their minimum payment at 21% interest? It takes too long, but for some reason, that's a lot of people's strategies. Now, we also have a lifestyle expense, and we all have to adjust our lifestyle. It really depends on where you're at and what you're doing. But the good news is that for this strategy to work, like when I showed my grandma this, she was like, well, you know, I'm already on fixed income. How am I going to make this work? And when I showed it to her, it blew her mind. So you can maintain a certain level of lifestyle. You don't have to go on necessarily the rice and beans diet unless you want to. I'm a fan of rice and beans. I actually had some rice and beans earlier today, but by choice, not because I'm on some, you know, restrictive spending plan. And so now also in this category of putting money away. Now, if you have a great tax strategy, maybe you could save a lot more. If you don't, you're potentially hemorrhaging thousands of dollars a year, maybe thousands of dollars a month. In fact, my Uncle Brad, who was a civil engineer, when I showed him these strategies, he ended up saving more money in taxes than his wife was earning in a year at her job. Isn't that crazy? So basically, she was working to pay his tax bill. Once we got him to start owning his business and flip the game, he saved $40,000 in taxes. She was earning $35,000 a year. It's incredible. So she quit her job, and now I'm the favorite nephew. All right, anyway, so with this cash flow statement right now, it's 5 in, 5 out, cash flow 0. Now put your thinking caps on. Is this a true statement? Is 32 degrees the freezing point of fresh water at sea level? I know some of you are going, what the heck? I thought this was a real estate. Yeah, but this is about mindset too. 32 degrees Celsius, not the same. 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius. Now we're talking the same. Okay, well now my next question on the screen here, which one's hotter? Which temperature is hotter? Oddly enough, 1 degree Celsius is hotter than 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, how can a lower number be hotter? Okay, next question. And I know the answer to that. Okay, it's a different unit, different scale measurement. But my next question here is, let's say you go to a bank, you borrow some money, they let you pick your interest rate. 21 or 6. Which one would you pick? Which one costs more? Well, if you don't know how to look at the numbers, you might not be able to tell. So let's look at these numbers. Let's break it down. Let's peel back the curtain. Let's take a look. First thing is, lines and loans are not created equal. Loans are on an amortized schedule. And for those of you who have trouble sleeping at night, you can open up your mortgage's amortization schedule and start going through that. You'll be asleep in no time. But money only goes one direction, to the bank. Now on lines are different. They're on a different schedule. They're on a different unit of measurement when it comes to processing the interest. And we call that simple, or ADI, average daily interest. That's how it's calculated. And money goes in and out of these accounts, in and out. Now, let's take a snapshot here of the amortization schedule of this mortgage. It's $1,200 a month, $200,000. When $1,200 arrives at the bank, they will take $1,000 out of that and say, that's our profit, and they'll count $200 towards your debt. And then next month, $1,200 shows up, they'll take $9.99. I'm not making this up. There's $9.99, $1 difference, and $201 will go towards your profit. And then next month, it'll be $9.98 towards the bank and their profits, and then $202 towards your debt and your mortgage. And it's not until payment 222, almost 20 years into the future, before it's even 600 to the bank's profit, 600 to the debt that you owe the bank. But most people around this timeline is what they either refinance and they start the clock back over, or they sell a house and buy another one and move in and start the interest clock over again. And if we take a snapshot and we look and we say, all right, even if it's just 4 years, 48 payments of $1,200 going out of their pocket, only $12,000 of it counts as principal, and over $45,000 went to interest in just your first 4 years. So when I saw this and I remembered, oh, wait a minute, my grandma just refinanced. Oh, no. She was 13 years into her mortgage and she refinanced and she started it over. So I got in my car back when you could visit your grandma. What a world we live in right now, right? It's crazy. Anyway, squirrel. I drive over to my grandma's house and I say, Grandma, I want to help you get out of debt. She goes, well, I just refinanced and I'm saving $200 a month on my mortgage. And I went, it got her. It's not, okay, maybe $200 a month was less on her expenses, but the amount of money she had already paid in interest to get to where she was 13 years in would now take her 45 years to get back to the same place. So is she saving money? Total, no way. She was not saving any money. So we've now sped it up for her. So from a cash flow perspective, loans and lines are totally different. Lines keep your principal liquid, whereas loans, 100% of your cash is gone. Think about this. If you made a double payment on your car loan, could you get that money back? Could you say, oh, wait, actually, you know what? I paid a little bit too much. Let me get it back. With loans, it doesn't work like that. But with lines, you can make a big payment. And if you need to have access to that money, there it is. All I did was keep the interest. So if you're going to apply this interest reduction strategy to your life, there are 2 rules of thumb to follow. One is lines are better than loans. And 2 is a mindset. It's a perspective. The cash is velocity and leverage is your currency. So let's go back to these numbers now. And let's imagine that you take your whole paycheck and you put it on your line. Boom. What it does is it effectively eliminates that credit card payment at the end of the month because you already moved money and made a payment. Your deposit is the payment. Okay, you got to change the way you look at things in order for this to make sense for you. Now, the other thing we're going to do is we're going to redirect the money that was just sitting in the savings account. And we're going to redirect it to work for us inside of our line. Now, just to make a point here, I'm going to switch over to the whiteboard again, because we need to do some quick math to make a point so people can see why on earth, why are they doing what they're doing? So I'm going to come back to the whiteboard here, and let's think about this for a second. We have a bank who is on one side of the equation paying us, let's say they're paying us 1%. We're getting paid 1% on our savings account. And then on the other side, let's say we have this auto loan and it's costing us 6%. Okay, so the bank is paying us on our savings 1%, but then it's costing us 6% on our auto loan. Now, where the heck did the bank get the money to lend to us for our auto loan? They took it from other people's savings accounts. So while they're paying people 1% and charging them 6%, my question is, what is the bank's ROI? What is the bank's return on investment in this scenario? If they're paying 1% and earning 6%, It is not 5, but 500. Right? If it was 5%, that would be 1% to 1.05%. That would be a 5% return, but they're not. They're charging 6%. So it becomes a 500% return. But then there's this thing called fractionalized lending. And that means that the bank is allowed to lend your savings account to 7 other borrowers. So we have to times this by 7. Now the bank is getting a 3,500% return on that relationship. This is why the banks are getting rich. The banks have the biggest buildings in every city is because of this ROI situation. What is this called? There's one word. It is called, hope I spell this right, arbitrage. Did I spell it right? Arbitrage, making money off other people's money. It's totally legal. It's totally legit. But if you don't look at the numbers and you don't realize that the bank is getting a quadruple 4 decimal point rate of return, not double digit, not triple digit, quadruple digit rate of return. This is one reason why wealthy people don't save their money in other banks' savings accounts. They still save money, let's be clear, but not in the traditional savings account method. The other point I want to make about this is what we call the rule of 72. Who's heard of the rule of 72? The rule of 72 shows us how soon our money doubles. That's good to know, right? How soon our money doubles. That way we can make better informed decisions. Well, here's how it works. You take the interest rate you're earning and you divide it into 72, and that tells you the number of years. So if, from our previous example, if you were earning 1%, well, 1 goes into 72 times. So it takes 72 years. Well, what if we're getting a 2% return? 2 goes into 72, 36 times, so it'd be 36 years. 3% is 24 years. 4% is 18 years. 10% would be, into 72, would be 7.2 years. And that's when we start to get a double digit, but it's still 7 years. So if you put $1,000 into a savings account at 10%, it would still take 7 years to turn into $2,000. But it would take 72 years at 1% to turn into $2,000. So we really want to make money work for us in a big way. So you can't just leave it to chance. You got to do the numbers and you got to make smarter decisions. Even a 4% still takes 18 years. So my point is we got to make money work for us, or else we're going to run out of time. Seriously, literally run out of time before we ever hit our financial goals. So let's go back to our PowerPoint now and finish out our scenario, and then we'll get you your free gift and we'll get out of here. So we're going to redirect that savings money back to our line, and here's what will happen. We had a balance of $12,000. We moved our monthly income of $5,000 onto our line and pushed the balance down to $7,000. But we still have to pay our car payment, our mortgage payment, and we still have our lifestyle, right? We still got money to spend. So we use our line to do that. And now this is what happens in 1 month. Now, the key here is do it again next month and do it again. If you run into an emergency, there's your funds right there. It's built in. If no emergency, this line of credit will be paid off in just 6 months. Now, if that was it and you just stayed there, cool, great. You paid off your credit card. Now, for some people, that's a dream of theirs that they've had for years to pay off a credit card. Yet they're paying too much in taxes. They're not paying to the interest they're paying in other areas. They're not looking at the ROI on what the banks are doing, and they're just trying to get by. We want to create a better sense of awareness around financial knowledge and the steps to take to get where you want to go. You will potentially get credit increases. If you have the discipline to only buy assets with these credit limit increases, you're basically creating arbitrage. You're using other people's money to make money. And that's available for you with the right knowledge, systems, and tools. Now, let's say this line of credit that we paid down to $0, we take $12,000 off of it and we throw it at the loan and make a principal-only payment. Here's what would happen. First of all, yes, you can do that. And if your bank says you can't, you got the wrong bank, because you definitely can. It's totally allowed. And most banks and bankers don't realize that it works. So now obviously we racked our 12,000 back up, but in 6 months we pay it back down. Now, when it comes to interest, some of you are scratching your head going, wait a minute, Michael, did you just take $12,000 off of a 21% interest line and pay it against a 6% interest loan? Why on earth would you do that? Well, math is why. Because if you do it this way, you can get to the same place in 6 months and it'll cost you $1,200 in interest, or 4 years and $45,000 in interest to get to the same place on what you owe your bank. So of course, let's make the more intelligent decision that keeps more money in our pocket. When it comes to the numbers, this is the more intelligent decision. Now, if you repeat this process, if you only do it once, fantastic. You got to skip 4 years of your life and save $45,000 in interest. But if you repeat the process for years and years and years, you'll eventually pay off that house. And that $1,200 no longer needs to go out of the bank account. We can recapture it on our line, and now we can speed up our velocity curve. This is where I was talking about, where cash becomes our velocity, and we can speed up our debt pay downs. Now we'll take $12,000 off of the line and throw it at the auto loan. Pay off the auto loan, redirect that $600 back to the line. Our velocity count is sped up even faster. Same income, same lifestyle expense, but we're speeding up the debt. And now, in this scenario, we paid it all off. Woohoo! But let's not stop there. You're supposed to pay off your debt. You're supposed to pay off your debt. This is not a time to take a break. Let's take it to the next level. What that looks like here, again, hypothetical scenario. But what that looks like here is, what if with that $200,000 house that we just paid off, we get what's called a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. Now there are many types of lines of credit. We got business lines of credit. We got secured lines of credit. We got unsecured lines of credit. We got all kinds. Overdraft protection, signature lines of credit, tons. And I see Keith put that in the chat box here. All kinds of lines of credit. And they are different than loans. Again, we just talked about that in a few slides. But what if we take this HELOC, we're able to get $200,000, and we distribute the funds. This is not spend money. This is distribute funds. And we go and buy 10 rental properties. Now, again, my first property that I showed you where we put $187 down, you're probably not going to be able to duplicate that. But I have heard of other people who get paid to buy houses. I've heard of that a lot, where not only do they take over the house, but they also get paid at closing, walk away with $5,000, $10,000, $50,000 sometimes. Anyway, besides the point, these 10 houses, let's say you don't have enough income or stellar credit in order to buy 10 houses. Most people don't right now. But you know that there are 10 motivated sellers in your area or around the country, and you want to be able to buy their houses, and they will gladly let you take over their payments and their headaches, which are your opportunity. Take over their payments. But you do maybe need to cash them up, put repairs into the property. Maybe you got to pay back taxes. It depends. So I'm going on the high end, and we're going to assume it takes $20,000 to do this for each one. But we're only going to buy them if they cash flow. Hello? Only buy them if they cash flow. We're not buying properties to just say we bought 10. We're not buying properties for appreciation. We're not buying properties for tax purposes. We're buying properties for the cash flow. And we recommend a minimum of 400. Now, that would put 10 properties at 400, would put $4,000 in your pocket every month, plus the original account that we had. Remember from our previous example, 5,000 in, well, we paid off the house, paid off the car, we paid off the credit card, so we still got 3,800 left over every month. So using this strategy, redirecting that money back to the velocity account, it gets paid off in 2 years. Back down to zero debt on your HELOC in 2 years. Well, now we have these 10 properties. These are not free and clear properties. In fact, we owe 100, let's assume we owe 100,000 on each, right? We took over someone else's headache, someone else's mortgage. So in fact, in this scenario, we're now $1 million in debt. Yes, I said $1 million in debt. When some people are thinking, man, I just want to pay off my $3,500 credit card. And here we are talking about why not get $1 million in debt? Now, of course, it's going to be on assets that cash flow because they will pay themselves off. In fact, look at this. By the math, we will pay off our first house in 13 months using this strategy. Once that's paid off, that $800 that was the mortgage payment, we can now capture onto our Velocity account, speed it up, pay off the second property in 11 and a half months. It's incredible stuff. And every property after that, boom, 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 is going to be less than a year. So inside of a decade, we now have 10 rentals paid off, free and clear. We paid off our debts. We got cash flow. We got 5 figures a month of cash flow coming in. Imagine what that would be like. Now, of course, I'm painting a picture of this taking 9 years. Some people in our organization are doing it in 2 years. Other people are taking longer. Of course, it's going to take years to do this, but those years are going to go by anyway. It's time to get started now. It's time to jump on this opportunity. Now, if you spend all 12 grand, next month it shows back up. Next month it shows, you spend it again, it shows back up. This is why we want cash flow. Cash flow is a major key to your success. Now, if you don't have any money and you want to get started, you could take Dane's approach. He used one of our banking systems. He got a line of credit for 0% interest. He'd never had a line of credit before. He didn't know what the heck they really were. So he got educated. He used our systems. He got $30,000. He bought the training. He also, like in the example, paid off his car, used the Velocity account this way, and before his 0% expired, he had it all paid off. So what did it ultimately cost him? How many pennies did it cost him to do this? Now, everybody's different. Maybe not everybody can get 0%. But banks are out there. Banks are still lending. In fact, our banking system has already funded $60 million in the last 6 years for our students in 0% lines of credit. So if you want to take a look at that, we have solutions and systems for you. But in this example for Dane, it cost him 0 pennies to do this because it was 0% interest. He paid it off before the 0% expired. He got a nice tax write-off for the education. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much that if you just got that result, you'd be very, very impressed. But that's just one thing. That's just interest reduction on rental properties. When we start talking about asset protection and 1031 exchanges and multifamily and fix and flips and short sales and seller finance notes and tax liens and deeds, there's a ton. When we get into cash flow banking strategies with life insurance policies, when we show you how to protect your assets and make yourself bulletproof so no one can ever take what you've built, man, it's exciting stuff. You got a reason to get up every day. You got a reason to stay up late. You're looking forward to your better future. This is why there's so many excited people on the line, because they know what their future is going to do. They don't care what the economy is doing. Well, they care, they pay attention, but these strategies that we use are based on long-term wealth creation, not these flash in the pan type of strategies. I know some people at this point are feeling like this, and other people are feeling like this, like, what? I never even thought about it in these terms. And so you're tons of excited to figure out how to pay off your debts, get more cash flow in your life. So if that's you, let's talk. Let's talk again tomorrow. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Central Time. Let's continue this conversation. There's more to give you. This was just, like Baskin Robbins. This is a pink spoon. You want to take a flavor, take a bite, try something. You got to try it out. Tomorrow, we're going to go into more in-depth training. In fact, I'm going to play some tax strategy classes for you. And I'll give you my book. In fact, that's the gift for tonight. If you decide you want to come and join another one of these workshops, which right now tonight, there are 6 happening live right now with hundreds of our students participating in this. We're also going to give you the Velocity Banking Calculator. I know I went fast because I know we got a small amount of time. But if you need a more in-depth approach to this and you want a calculator with all the built-in equations, you can plug in your income, your expenses, plug it all in, check it all out. We've pre-built this calculator for you to use. And we have our 3-phase plan to get you into your next deal and how you can start making money with Renatus next week. I'd like to introduce you to our CEO. His name is Bob Snyder. Now, I made this slide. He would never make a slide where he calls himself the genius, okay? He's too humble. He's just a regular dude with a big vision, and he was morally and ethically driven to impact people in a positive way using real estate. And not only real estate, but personal development. Now, real estate, if you haven't picked up by now, it's risky, but the reward is incredible. The lifestyle change, when you mitigate risk and you use the support systems that we have, you use the education, you use the proper relationships and people here, it will really reduce your risk. On the other side of our equation of our business, we have a student expansion program that we're doing, and we're getting a lot more people involved, especially now because people need online systems. They need support. They need tools and strategies to help them pay their bills, and not just pay their bills and survive, but thrive in this economy. And if you got people skills, are you getting paid what your people skills are worth? If you got speaking skills, if you're able to learn systems and help other people implement them, we're here to provide a way for you to also make an income with us, and then take that income and put it into real estate. So I'll go over that system again tomorrow. If you don't want to wait till tomorrow, you can get back with the person that invited you here and then go in more depth for you. We're also going to do a real estate, real deal virtual walkthrough with a couple of our students from around the country. They're going to take us live into their properties that they're working on right now and walk us through them so we can get a little bit more educated on what's happening live in the market right now during this COVID thing, and showing you that the possibilities are real. They're still out there. So if you want the free book, the free Velocity Banking Calculator, and an invitation to tomorrow's house tour, please go to elevatefundingslc.com and register. Grab a seat. The free gifts will show up in your email box. It's just a simple name, email address, phone number, boom, there you go. And you got all the free gifts. Now, I'm wrapping up here. We are going to have a few other people share their stories, and we can open up for a little bit of Q&A towards the end here. But there are basically 3 kinds of people now watching this. They're what I'm going to call number 3. You're thinking, I like it, and I'll attend tomorrow. If you're number 2, you're going to say, I like it, but I need my questions answered right away. And you're going to get back with someone who invited you here. Or, again, you can show up tomorrow, but you want to get your questions answered. Or if you're number 1 and you love it and you want to get started and sign up right now and you're done wasting time and you're ready to jump on this and take advantage of our tools, our systems, our education, our resources, and you want to get involved with us right now, then you're number 1. And we can help you get started right now. If you want help with the funding, again, we can help you with that. None of these here on the screen say, I need help with funding. Everybody needs help with funding. That's why you're here, okay? So I get that. My question is, do you like it or do you love it, right? If you didn't like it, you would have already jumped off. So I would congratulate you for staying through this, sticking with us. There's a lot more that I want to show you, but we're pretty much out of time for tonight. So I do want to have a few more people come out here and just share their story and their experience of how this system is helped them build up their educational platform. I'm going to have Tom Robinson come out here, and also I'd like Tani Shaw to come out here and just share what this system has done for them and how it's been able to provide for their family and their well-being. So I'm going to stop the share here. Mr. Tom Robinson, why don't you come out here real quick and share with the world what you're working on?
Thank you, Michael. I was thinking, given what other people have shared, what could I share? And what I'm really present to right now is when I was introduced to this group, I was sleeping on an air mattress in a drafty Chicago apartment. And if I was now under quarantine in a drafty Chicago apartment with an air mattress, I don't know, it might be a murder-suicide with me and my wife. You know, it was just like, so I'm a serial entrepreneur. I did the college thing. I got the degree. I got really clear really quickly that I didn't want somebody else telling me when I could go to the bathroom and when I could, not come into work. And when I got introduced to this group, I had just had a really negative business experience. I don't know if anyone else has had an involuntary shift in their financial situation, but I thought I had about $60,000 coming in and wound up $60,000 in debt. And my buddy said, "Hey, let's do real estate investing." And I'm like, drafty apartment, air mattress, $60,000 kick in the teeth. I'm not sure this is the right time. And, you know, this is 5-6 years ago, and my wife and I have done 30 renovations. We've picked up over 20 rentals. We started a short-term rental business. My favorite thing, though, is that we went from that apartment to a historic home in Denver. Using what we've learned with this, you know, this community, we were able to buy our house for hundreds of thousands of dollars below market, in a market where people are routinely paying more than the asking price. So we bought our house and made hundreds of thousands of dollars. We bought a house that has rental spaces on it. So our house actually pays us to live in our house. So if the place you're living isn't making you money, you might want to sit your house down and have a talk with it.
That's right.
Lazy house, or spend more time with us. So
Yeah.
it's life, you know, it's been life-changing, and that's why I keep coming back week after week.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. Congrats on your success. Yeah, if your houses aren't paying you, what are you doing? Sit them down and talk to them. That's awesome. All right, I'm going to have one more person, Sandra Hernandez. She just did an amazing deal. I'm going to have her come out and share her story real quick. And Sandra, go ahead and take it away.
Okay. Hi, Michael. Hi, everybody. Let me put some light in here.
Oh, there you are.
I was kind of driving. Okay. My story. Well, I started, where do I start? I found the education. I didn't attend any of the meetings. My husband found this group and that the education for me. And I was desperate. I needed to change my strategies, let's say. I was in a lot of debt. And I was tired of just working to make ends, you know, and I was like, I'm tired. There's got to be something else out there. So I guess I got my husband tired of me telling him this, that he found it. So I applied one strategy like the velocity ranking strategy, and saved me $170,000 in interest. So
wait a minute, you're saying the strategy that I just went over, you're implementing, and it's saving you $100 and how much?
$70,000.
$170,000. Wow, incredible.
Yeah, that was like, for me that was like, okay, what? So I went and did that strategy, and I bought another house, and I put my old house for rent, and that house is cashing me $400 a month right now. So, yeah, just by doing that is worth it, and it has changed everything in my life and the way I used to do banking and learning every day about how to improve everything in my kids' life and my life and my family life and everybody.
Wow. Wonderful stuff. Well, thank you so much for taking the time tonight to share your story and hopefully inspiring some new people. Tani Shaw, if you're still here, I would like you to just come out and share real quick what your experience has been working with us. I know you have some big goals in life, and I'd like to hear how you're going to achieve them.
Hello. Yeah, this is definitely not rehearsed. You can tell by my appearance. Messy bun, that's how we do it with Renatus community. Sorry, I was tending to something else. The question was, how has Renatus helped me? Right.
Yeah, what are you doing? What's your story? How'd you have your best month ever? How did you end up in London with us last year?
London. So sorry about that. My sister called me. I took the principles that Renatus taught me and was really dedicated to win that sales contest to London. You want like my life story?
30-second version.
Yeah, so like my background is basically everything: food service, nannying, oil field, office jobs, executive assistant. I didn't like have the education to go for any like big high paying jobs, and so I was always chasing the dollar, but the low dollar. And I just was at a point where I was fed up and had reached the ceiling multiple times in whatever job space I was in. And I started looking into real estate, try to do the whole freebie training. I had dead end after dead end. Saw Renatus from a Tinder date that turned into my best friend. And it honestly has changed my life. Within my first year, I was jumping into multi-million-dollar deals, and I wasn't, anyone superior to anybody else. It's given me the education and confidence that I need to take on whatever I want to in life. And it's also opened up other business opportunities as well.
Cool. And now you've started a charity and an organization to make sure kids are getting clean drinking water all around the world. This is incredible stuff. So when you can get connected with your passion and your business at the same time, you're unstoppable. So congrats, Tony. Thanks for coming out here and sharing your story. All right, one last story. It wouldn't be complete without hearing from Mr. Michael White. So come on out here, sir, all the way from Boulder, Colorado. Tell us what's up. What are you doing?
Hey, how's everybody out there? Thanks, Michael, for having me on. Thanks for taking us through such a poignant presentation. Potent stuff we're working with. Before I came here, I was just I was a teacher. So I'm an artist, and I was a teacher driving back and forth from Boulder to Denver, and I have 4 kids, and I dropped out of college and just scrambling around to make ends meet, and kind of a know-it-all. Like, I dropped out, I'm good, and the reality was I was scrambling around. So with 4 kids and just making enough money to buy food and pay most of the bills. So I found Renatus found me, and that was about 4 years ago. I met you, brother. Came down to the office, and Michael was really generous in his knowledge and sharing, information on how to turn my financial situation around. And that really was the key factor. I did a little studying on how to make money in real estate, but without a real community and a support system, you could do it, but it's not going to happen as fast and as efficient. And so I'm super thankful for the community and this education. And I've been able to 10x my income since I've been around. I set up a banking system, and I actually capture money that I earn every month for my family that's inside a trust. And I have a couple rentals. Matter of fact, both of our rentals are occupied right now. So even with the COVID epidemic or pandemic, it still hasn't affected our work. Real estate, living in houses is something that is a need that never goes away. Even in pandemics, the need for housing never goes away. So it's a great time to get into this real estate thing, and we're able to do it from home right now. It's wonderful. So thank you. I don't know what I'd be without this stuff.
Congrats, man. That's a beautiful story. And Mike and I had something in common. When we were first coming down to these meetings, sometimes we'd have to catch a bus to make it happen. So super proud of you, man. Sticking with your goals, no matter what obstacles were thrown at you, you handled it, and we're still growing.
Yeah.
I'm excited to have you come out to the property in Tennessee some more and help me design some permaculture stuff and really make this a sustainable living thing. So I'm going to be leaning on some of your knowledge for that.
Yeah. And we're sending you the good energy for you. You're about to have a baby. Tell Vanessa, low tones. Oh.
That's right.
Keep the portal open. Yeah.
we get tips and tricks in all kinds of ways. It's not just real estate. It's life, baby.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Like I said, we're a community. Let's get involved. We have a workshop tomorrow night with a house tour. And then for those of you who want to check it out, we have what's called our Super Saturday. We do this once a month, our Super Saturday. We have a special guest trainer. His name is Woody Woodward. He's one of the Renatus instructors. He's going to come and do a featured training for us on Saturday. Mountain time will be 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So if you want access to that, check the calendar. If you're already a member, if you're a guest, get back with the person who got you on this webinar, and they can hook you up with the training and the link to be able to be involved in our Super Saturday training. It's all about entrepreneurship, about finding leads, it's about being able to do personal development and use online systems to get new results. So Woody Woodward will be in the house. Please register early, show up early so that we can get the broadcast started. And you guys have been awesome. Again, if you want your free gift, you want to get registered, here's the link one more time, elevatefundingslc.com. If you need a copy of this recording, again, get back with the person that invited you here. We will equip them with the recording. If you think of someone that needs to see this recording, then put it in their hands. This is all about sharing. Sharing is caring. That's what we're about here. We're a community. We're a family. We focus on people. We focus on systems so that the systems work for us. We focus on upgrading our lifestyle and being able to control our destiny, being able to win in life, win in business, win in relationships. We're able to acknowledge others. Twice a year, we get together and we award each other different categories of excellence that we've all been able to achieve. We love on each other. We're a community, and we really do have the proof that you can do this too. If I could do it, if Mike can do it, if Esther can do it, if Keely can do it, anybody can do it. So congrats again on being here. Look forward to connecting with you virtually for these next little bit. And then eventually, when we can all start traveling, seeing you at one of our next workshops. And maybe we'll even do a deal together. Who knows? So thanks again for being here. Congrats, everybody. And we will talk to y'all here pretty soon. Have a good night.